You alright people, how's it going? Right, how we doing people? Hope everybody's had a merry old time and all that. The day of forgetting about this ignorance and, you know, enjoying family time's over. It's back to the real situation. Yeah, what a pickle we're in. So, I'll probably open up a wee bit once I get through some of this. So, titled this, What's Next for the Globe Psyop and its Disciples. So, let's have a wee look, shall we, at Psyop, cult behaviours, and see where it matches. There's an ever increasing behaviour pattern. You only need to feed these clowns a wee bit of rope and they will display it tenfold for you. They're not the brightest sparks, right? This cult, because it's founded on lies, will always display predictable behaviours. Okay, same patterns. It has nothing. The globe Earth is a psyop. It's a religious creation implemented by military means. And the antics we see on the media platforms are carried out by vagrants, pond scum. Okay, so we'll have a wee look at this today. As of next year, coming very soon, I am going to be focusing on real science. I'm not talking about guys sitting in their mammy's basements talking crap. I am going to pressure these people with real physics, real practicality, and I'm going to take it to them. Okay, so I'm in two minds whether I'm going to wheel out 00 scientist, but I'm going to be making a series of actual, tangible, related science videos. The substances in the natural world and their behaviours and their interactions with each other. Real science. Something along the lines of people like Julius Sumner Miller. Some of these older guys from generations gone by who partook in real scientific endeavour. That's what we need to get back to. That is what I'm going to be representing from now on in. This nonsense cult and its wee idiotic disciples are going to be showing up badly in the coming future. It's a religious nonsense founded upon sophistry and pseudoscience. It has nothing measurable, it has nothing tangible. It's about time people realise this. So, when it's going to be presented in a real scientific fashion, we will see what they have left. Once I get through some of this, we'll have a look at some of the wheeled out new characters and how they've been elevated as part of this psyop trying to maintain itself. And we'll have a scan through at what they actually offer. Because as far as I can see right now, the real people, the real skeptics, the real scientists are people who are asking the fundamental questions. People who are endeavouring through practicality to figure out what this place actually is. While that's going on, we have disciples from the globe cult Psyop trying to sway people and influence people with emotional, psychological tactics. The globe does not represent scientific objectivity, skepticism. It will become very clear to anybody that that's the case, that they are dealing with and they are part of a religious cult. So, I hope everybody had a good time and all that stuff, but there's a bigger picture here. So along with the science-based videos that I'm going to be making, I'm going to talk about other aspects. I'm going to talk about the social science aspect, the human mind, how we operate, our relationships with each other and the interactions we have with each other. So, going to be busy in the coming future. The little disciples better smarten themselves up. The little disciples, the globe cult and its disciples, are going to be forced to accept reality. How you doing, people? The Eye, West Coast Wisdom, how you doing? Dave Hinkle, Grissu, Midnight Gardener, Casimires, how you doing, mate? Trackmatic, oops, I am because we are one love, how you doing? Dabbing good, Colshy Cats, how you doing, mate? John D. It was hilarious taking a spirit level onto an airplane to Spain, no diving every 2 minutes. Flat level plane indeed, of course it is. We will see that. Tangible world's demonstrably a plane. The visible world is something different. Bill, how you doing? Andy Borthwick, how's it going, mate? Buckle up, Trackmatic, Individual Perspective, Bloody Stickle and Water Sphere Skeptic, Chris Jackson, how you doing? He'll just push more. Well, Chris, this is the thing. You know, the thing is you give them rope, you play them like you think you're entering into their games, and then they up the ante and they display it. So when you talk about ridicule, all it does is prod them into displaying these behaviours tenfold. Right? Now it's time to change it again. Now we don't engage with them at that level. We just continue to press with the practical demonstrations. I don't mean observations through cameras. I'm talking about substance-based science and see how they deal with it. And I'm just going to keep pounding it. And it's not going to be happening online. I'm going to make these and I'm going to start taking them to every university, every local school, everywhere possible. And press these people who are influencing vulnerable children to face up to the bullshit that they're pushing them. Because what I'm going to offer there is absolutely no way to wriggle out of it, no way to deny it. And we'll see how to deal with that. As I say, they're not very bright. Tasty Wheat, how you doing? The Eye, Tom Corner, how you doing? Dabbing Good, Anonymous, Brian Mabet, how you doing? Flyeth Underground, how's it going, mate? RS Level Plane, yeah. Exactly, Chris, that's it. But the thing is we don't enter into it with their language. Things have to be defined. Nay, fallacious reasoning, fallacious logics, none of that's going to be accepted. No appealing to consensus or authorities, practicality, practical demonstrations, using the substances and showing their behaviours. So, let's have a wee look, shall we? Let's establish a few things first and foremost. Okay. So what is a cult? What makes a cult? Let's have a wee look. We'll have a wee look. I'll just read for somebody and we can define things for ourselves and see what we agree with and what we don't agree with. You know, cult descriptions are pretty much all the same. A charismatic leader who increasingly becomes an object of worship as the general principles that may have originally sustained the group lose power. So what have we seen through the globe cult? We've seen an elevation through the media of priest-like idols, from Einstein to Degrassi Tyson, to the way they wheel out these kid-on astronauts and portray them in the media and how they're presented in the medias. Okay, so it goes all across the board with this cult. It's not just down to one leader. They have many. in many different walks of life. A process of indoctrination or education is in use that can be seen as coercive persuasion or thought reform, commonly called brainwashing. So where can we see that? I'm sure everybody knows that you see it everywhere through your media, and most importantly of all, you see it in what they call the education system, where it is exactly that, coercive persuasion with the children. This is how it is, this is what I'm telling you, you will accept. That's what we get. That's what I grew up through. That's what many of the children nowadays go through. The exact same thing. The education system does not employ a liberal arts education anymore. There is no liberating education going on. Children are not being taught how to think. They're being told what to think, what's acceptable, what's unacceptable. Behavioural expectations, the whole shebang. Make no mistakes that this thing that you are in and involved in is a cult. And the signs are everywhere. It's an idea that's being imposed and backed up through coercion, through fear, not just in the education system. We spoke about this many times before. Look at the boundaries you are set by. And you have armed forces, militant behaviour, dictating and trying to control behaviours. Economic, sexual and other exploitation of group members by the leader and the ruling coterie. So you see that everywhere. Sexual exploitation is rife. This all ties in to the foundations of our existence that breeds nihilistic type behaviours, that encourages sociopathy, psychopathy and rewards them. Sex is used continually under this umbrella of this cult. Not only to influence the general public, but it's also used as a tool to keep people in line within the inner ranks, whether it be a political or a religious or whatever institution. Child abuse, medical neglect. Children are being abused constantly at the hands of this nonsense. They're being told they're hairless monkeys zipping through an infinite vacuum with no rhyme or reason. People are being refused proper medical support and help. Accessibility of alternative medicines for people, adults, to freely choose to go and pursue off their own back is being restricted. People are being put in jail. Cults have historically evolved to become generally regarded as religions. Globalism. There's a big religion. That is now an established religion. You ask the majority of the people, where do you live? On a ball. How do you know that? I was told. I've seen it on my TV. Some groups may not fit the definition of a cult, but may pose potential risks for participants. Here are 10 warning signs of potentially unsafe group or leader. Absolute authoritarianism without meaningful accountability. Again, what do we see? in every aspect of life. Authoritarianism, with no accountability. No tolerance for questions or critical inquiry. So, somebody like myself, who has an assumed beliefs based on assumptions, and then when I decide I'm going to question that and remain objective without getting personal with anybody or anything, and recognising it as such, what happens? What happens is what I've seen for the last 4 years. Swathes of attacks from faceless potatoes representing this cult and its message. So remember, you're looking for the signs of the cult. We're not a cult. I'm not a cult. I was a cult member. I have asked these questions. I have been met with authoritarian attitude. No tolerance for questions or inquiry. But yet we're talking about science. We're talking about objectivity. Questions about the natural world. And that's being discouraged. To the point where you can clearly see the Psyop. We'll get to that. There is no legitimate reason to leave. Former followers are always wrong in leaving, negative or even evil. Where have we seen this being depicted? Oh, we're just crazies. We're just crazies, and we're bad because we're spreading the crazy. Although it's a minority and it's a self-evident globe that stands up on its own, but we need organised groups of dipshits to try and control it. Former members often relate to the same stories of abuse and reflect a similar pattern of grievances. More familiarity right there. Where was the abuse? From childhood. Being told a confusing, conflicting story about what this life is and where I am. Same for you. Followers feel they can never be good enough. The group leader is always right. It's a globe because the Greeks, Eratosthenes. The group leader is the exclusive means of knowing truth or receiving validation. No other process of discovery is really acceptable or credible. Where do we get the stories of the globe? Predominantly through the education system, which is granted its ability to educate through the Vatican. Where does the Big Bang heliocentric model emanate from? Again, the same institution. Who validates it? Astronauts. Exclusive means of knowing the truth. Only they can go to the vacuum of space in their wee space rockets, and you just better believe what they're telling you. So I find it funny when you read some of these things and then they mention things like global, as if they're either just confused morons or it's just a deliberate get it right up you. Psyop. Operations to convey selected information and indicators to audiences to influence their emotions, motives and objective reasoning, and ultimately the behaviour of governments, organisations, groups and individuals. Again, what are we seeing from the globe? Just waves of the same tired nonsense, just trying to grind emotionally, psychologically on people. Remember, if it's something that is objectively true, there is no need for propaganda. There is no need for emotional, psychological operation. Absolutely none. The only time you need that type of behaviour is when you're a manipulator trying to impose your agenda. The globe and its cult ways have been shown excessively over the last 4 and a bit years, to the point now where it is just glaringly obvious about what's happening. So what do you see? You don't see objectivity. Again, I started out with this, with the premise of remaining objective. It's not personal. It's not about me. That was the very reason I could step up to the plate, because then I was very introverted. The thought of being on camera and talking about things was repulsive to me. But I had a passion. I felt strongly enough that I had to step in and represent this. And the reason I could do so is because it was impersonal. It's not about me. It's not about me being showman and scratching my ego and displaying personality. That's not what this is about. This is about what's objectively true and how do we establish that. But from the off, we've had manipulative people playing games, trying to influence other people and me through coercive psychological and emotional means. And we continually see it, and you probably will continue to see it. But that's not the game or the message that I want to get across to people. Again, I want people empowered, thinking for themselves, realising through practicality what this reality actually is and what it is impossible for it to be. In this case, a globe, an absurdity, an insult, a religious symbol. That religious symbol depicts total control, dominance over individuals. It's a blinding tool that's been placed over the minds of the masses. A blinding tool that they don't even see, they don't even recognise. The first filter that they fail to address. And because they fail to address that, they just get involved with everything else that follows and become swept up in the waves of nonsense, the waves of delusions, and can never make head nor tail of what they're actually involved in because they are blinded to that base, that foundation that it all stems from. So, what I'm going to do now, just to show you, is we have seen an increase in certain new characters appearing on places like YouTube and being elevated and promoted and pushed over a very short space of time. Because the cult is in its death throes. The characters that it's throwing out are the vagrants, are the pawn scum. People who will lie, cheat, deceive their very own family in order just to get one up on somebody else. That's the type of profiling that goes on. That is the type of personnel you require in order to push lies blatantly right in front of people's faces. Gotta love the water. Gotta love this stuff. the source of life, source of truth, the biggest, most potent truth that deflates the complex lies of the cult known as the globe. Can't wait, it's going to be so much fun. So, totally agree, Ali. They're emotionally attached to an idea. And because they're emotionally attached to that idea, all the other ideas that stemmed from it, they become attached to as well. I'll repeat this continually. If you don't know the room you're in, you don't know the playing field, what game are you playing? Are you playing badminton on a basketball court? Is it a football court that you're playing bowls on because somebody told you that's what you have to play? That's the reality. People just don't have a fucking clue. They're playing these games that they call life and they think they're cemented in objectivity. They don't realise that it's just an idea. But they're enamoured by it and they become secure and comfortable in the idea. And if you try and whip that away, they become disorientated. They need a comfort blanket. They want some other certainty to replace it. So when I started with this, I recognised the globe, and then I recognised its psyops, its games that it was implementing. In order to protect itself, it pumped out cartoon maps and models, nonsense ideas of what flat means. They came at us with all sorts of nonsense about Eratosthenes and you know, on both sides. Robotom and all these fucking nonsensical, fallacious methods of reasoning. And I was annoyed by that. Because I realised very quickly what the game was and what was required. You are the scientist. You live now. The game is not for you to find some piece of information from a man online or from some man you read in a book. The game, the real game that will win is by you, the individual, endeavouring to explore the reality you live in, practically demonstrating to your fellow man your findings. No with rhetoric, sophistry, mathematical jargon, with real, tangible practicality. The very same method that brought you the tools that you're using to this very day, the house you live in, the technology you're using, the appliances you're using to watch this right now. These things are based on tangibility, real substance that can be known, understood and applied. That's the science we're talking about. The globe cult has mixed geometries, the geometry of the tangible world and its substances, and it has replaced it with mathematical concept. Metaphysical yarns about utter nonsense. Seeing repetitive patterns above them, formulating mathematical descriptors of what they suggest is going on, but yet can never offer you any real practical demonstrable substance. No measurable curvature. No practical demonstrations of the substances and their claimed behaviours and relationships to each other. They will tell you absurdities like bodies of water bend, rivers bend, that high pressure doesn't seek low pressure on a global scale, but yet in everyday practicality, we know these things. The majority of practical people understand these things. But again, the invisible blindfold, they can't see it. It's a sad state, and this cult has got its hooks in because of the advancement of tangible science, i.e. TV screens. Getting these into people's homes so that every home has one in the corner. Then you can move your plan into overdrive. You can take away their common sensibility, confuse them about where they are, offer them priests who understand the mathematical jargon, and then flood the TV screens with images that depict the earth in an absurd, idiotic way. So let's have a wee look at some of these characters, shall we? Psyop. Now, we had characters before who fell by the wayside, who just were not cutting it. Now they get desperate, and they've wheeled out these people that sit looking down at their camera in their mummies' basements, waffling rhetorical garbage at people continually. I have searched Psyop's channel. There is absolutely no practical science in any of his videos. Absolutely nothing. Conspiracy cats, another vagrant pawn scum. Absolutely nothing. Although he goes a wee bit further than Psyop. He gets crayons on a whiteboard and draws symbols and numbers on it, and then shits on the chessboard and professes that he's the be-all and end-all and he's wind. Moron. Then we've got people like Fight the Flat Earth, who's offering vitriolous hatred towards people, wishing them harm, and getting militant in their approach because their cult is under serious threat. Now, it makes you wonder what these wee characters have been up to. Now, people that fight the flat earth, I try real hard not to invoke that horribleness in myself. Sometimes I think I would love to meet these wee fucking knob jockeys, because these wee knob jockeys deserve a slap right in the fucking mouth. But that's what they want. We don't need to go there. We don't need emotionally triggered people operating from illogical nonsense. We have the objective world on our side. You just have to recognise it, stand by it and represent it. These clowns will become glaringly obvious the more and more you do so, and that's the plan. Whip them up into a frenzy, get them displaying their cult behaviour, and then just hit them where it hurts. So they've got nothing. Now they're all sitting about in circle jerks. Christmas videos together, look, we're portraying that we're a big united team. Yeah, like that's going to emotionally affect strong-minded men. Strong-willed men. Don't fucking think so, you wee gimps. All it does to strong-minded and strong-willed men is drive them even harder to fuck you up. Which is exactly what's going to happen. So get militant. Keep displaying your cult bullshit. Men like me just sit back and laugh and rub our hands, say, you fucking beauty. Look at them. Look at them squirming. You were fucking told from fucking day one, cunts. If there was any honour in any of you, you fucking bunch of saggy-arsed pricks, that you would do the decent thing and put people in a picture. But you didn't. You think you're fucking smart. You think you've got the upper hand. You don't. Your wee pathetic games of influence only work on the fucking weak. Knowing people like me. So, we will watch them dance right into 2019, and I'm going to love every fucking minute of it, because I'm going to be active. I'm going to be actually out there in the real world, as always, with practicality, with real world interaction, and I'm going to push it. I am going to fucking harass these universities and these so-called academics. I am going to make an absolute cunt of them. All these fucking dipshits online are irrelevant to the real world. Anybody out there who's listening to this, I encourage you, fuck this online stuff. Get into the real world. That's where it hurts them. They're just trying to influence people through here, because this is the medium that people connect with each other. So they know that people's attentions will be on media, and that's where they try and affect. That's all they've got. They've got nothing else. You don't bump into them in the real world. You don't bump into them in your everyday conversations. They don't exist. They're ghosts in the real world. You know, I've endeavoured here to try and separate and understand the languages, and people really need to grasp it and commit to it. Okay? There's separations of geometries that are being used. We are interested in tangibles, the tangible world, the substances. That is how we find out about the natural world. You don't get that through language. You don't get that through institutions and images, through cameras and pictures and words and wee symbols. You're dealing with a religious cult. Just have a look at it. The problem is that people don't want to accept that they're part of a religious cult. This religious cult has encouraged atheism, which has produced these waves of fucking gamer boys, right, that think they're on the side of real science and objectivity, when really they're not. They've been duped again by the very same religious institutions. And to face up to that is a huge task for their ego. A number's been done on them. A number has been done on the masses. So you're dealing with the complexity of human nature, human ego. But again, it's not personal. Don't have an attitude of one-upmanship. Don't have an attitude of scratching your ego because you want to be important, you want to be right, you want to be somebody. This is bigger than that. Rein yourself in. Take your joy from representing the real objective world, standing by it. That's your glory. No accolades from faceless potatoes online. People want your autograph in the street. That's bullshit. Hope you understand. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wee hangout, and anybody can come and have a discussion with me. But again, as I said before, I've not got any tolerance anymore for people just coming on here to waste my fucking time. So you better have something to say, right? Or I'm just going to tell you straight. And I don't want you to take it personal. You've been warned. So if you're one of these dipshits that thinks you're going to come in here and that I don't see you, and you're just here to blow fucking hot air, I'm going to tell you. So, nae acting the victim. Once the big bad man in the shed has told you to get to fuck. Okay? I'm a decent guy. If you come in here with manners and respect and decency, you will be given the same in return. Come in here waffling pish and playing games, I'm just going to play you right back. Right, bear with me here to get a wee hangout set up. I'll check the phone in a wee minute as well. I'll stick that onto charge. What's this? Still getting these idiots looking for their opportunities. I see that the live videos have still had commenting on them because I'm cutting off their source of influence to the onlooker. Tell everybody, if they've got something to say, whether you meet somebody in the real world or you're speaking to somebody online, if they think they've got something to offer, tell them to come on to a live event. I'm always open. Oh, but Dale will just shut. No, Dale will not shut you down if you come in with a mannered approach. If you come in with a respectful attitude. Dale's only going to get irate and tell you to fuck off or mute you or kick you out when you act like a fucking imbecile. All you lot have to do is falsify the current models we use for everything and work perfectly fine. So, you know, you still get this going on. My models. The globe doesn't have a model. Models to me are scaled down or scaled up versions of something that is real, that accurately represents every aspect of the real thing. These twats and their models are talking about concepts, no tangibles. What else is going on here? Poor Dale doesn't even understand the definition of level. His number one proof that the Earth is not spherical actually proves him wrong. Oh, the irony. This is the type of fucking utter bullshit that I'm talking about. Dale knows perfectly well what level means. So does this fucking idiot probably. Part of their sophistry again. Because people don't understand, again, these blinding aspects where they can't separate the language, the geometries that are being assumed and what are being used. Redefining level to suit your wee agenda is useless. Level in the real world means level, means equal, means from that point to that point is in an equal line. It's an equal tangent from the centre of the sphere to the outside of the sphere, although my globe earth's not a perfect geometric ball circle. So I don't know how I'm going to redefine the central point of a weird shaped potato and then say there's equal all the way out. They talk about it in geometric ideals, drawing perfect circles on pieces of paper and then straight lines and saying, look, equal tangent from the centre of my circle to the outside of my circle. And you ever seen the Ball Earth cartoon picture with the oceans removed? See if you can find the centre of that. Or that wee idiot, fight the flat earth, fight the flat earth. Never laughed so hard, thanks for the awesome content. Penfold, I would advise you to remain indoors and play your games, son. Because out in the real world, you know you ain't going to last 2 fucking seconds, wee sacks. You said you lived in Scotland. You better hope nobody recognises you. If anybody does recognise any of these cockends, let me know where they are. I'll confront them out in the street with a live camera and see how they fucking behave. No violence. I don't need to be violent to any of these people. They're beneath me. It would be a liberty. But they're psychological and emotional fucking bullies, predators that need outed. They need to be confronted. They need to be put back in their wee fucking box. And I'm just a fucking man for the job. So, anybody knows where Penfold or Conspiracy Cat or any of these fucking morons are, let me know. I'll confront them in the real world and see if they act the fucking same. No violence, mean them no harm. Just a journalist. I want to report on them. I want to see how they behave. I want some real journalism on them. See if their wee smarmy attitudes are the same in reality. I highly doubt it. But anyway, even if we don't, they're going to get fucking shown up tenfold, penfold. So you keep up your wee militancy in the safety of your screen, sunshine. I know people like you and the rest of your wee crew are just wee spineless shite bags who would piss and shite themselves at the same time in a real face-to-face interaction. You seen me coming down the street, you would piss and shite yourself in one big explosion and then have a trembly lip. Because you know what you're dealing with. And I don't mean intimidation through physical violence. I can have that if you like. I don't need it though. My mind's enough. You're just not equipped to deal with me. Wee sacks. So, watch your fucking mouth. Watch how far you go, son. Anyway, if you would like to join me, please do so. Remember, if you're coming in, you need to mute the watch page. Okay, that means that when you're watching this on YouTube and you decide that you're going to come in for a wee chinwag, you need to hit mute on that thing that you're watching the video on YouTube before you come in. So let's force this globe cult into actual reasonable, rational discussion, as has always been pursued from people like myself. That's all we ever wanted, was reasonable, rational discussion and practical science in order to formulate an understanding and a knowing of our physical reality. But as yet, I've yet to see online any of these globe proponents being in that category that I've just described. It just doesn't happen. If we all get Boxing Day hangovers, or the globe proponents are scuttling in the corner, eh? Well, that's what they're encouraging already, Unsalted. You can see the militancy, seen it in fucking wee Penfold, trying to whip people up into a frenzy in a militant, violent type fashion. Just a wee fucking instigator. A wee knob jockey. Am I getting noises here? Lee, Russian vids.
What's going on, Del?
Aye.
Aye.
How you doing, Lee?
Not bad, yourself.
Good.
You know, Del, while you're there, I hear. By the way, I think Lee, you have an echo. You have, I think maybe you have your watch page open.
I hope you've got something to say here tonight, and I don't mean try to dominate the conversation and dictate to people how it is and how it isn't and all that stuff. I hope we've got some decent discussions happening here.
That's the whole point, Del. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to waste time and get to the point. Not talking about, my favorite color, what my friends think, or anything like this. I don't think I ever came on and did that before.
So what's the topic of discussions then? What we getting? We've got Tom and Lee as well.
Topic is this, Del. Topic is this. Something I have not heard many people talk about or mention. And that's the so-called like Halley's Comet or asteroid supposedly hitting Earth. A lot of people in the general public think, we're this stationary spinning ball and we're just sitting here like a duck and you're waiting for a Halley's Comet or some giant asteroid to hit us. We're supposedly moving 500,000 miles an hour with the sun. This is never mentioned, when they talk about this, like this collision course. And this is something that's, I think, relevant that, that should be brought up to ball earth. There's people that believe in this spinning ball that's traveling through space at these amazing speeds.
Right. So Halley's Comet has a tail. When's it going to run out? What brings it back again? We are being pulled in by the sun with the sun's tractor beam. But yet, Halley's Comet can fuck off for fucking years and then find its way back again. And leave a continual trail. When's the fucker got to run out?
Yeah, exactly. But these are, again, the reason I mentioned this is something that's not brought up. We constantly talk about water, but these inconsistencies need to be brought up to the people that believe in this rocket water ball that's traveling through space. That people do not put those together.
No, Russian V, I don't like what you just said there. People talking about water. To me, it's fucking irrelevant what's going on up there. It's got fuck all to do with the shape of the earth, man. So doesn't ever trump water, and people invoking these types of discussions are just drawn into debates because it's untangible, nonsensical crap. Nobody can argue with a tangible substance when it's demonstrated right in front of them. But it brings...
I agree with you 100%. But the whole point of bringing it up is how, people don't put that into consideration. So I'm with you with that. But the point is, again, to bring it up to say, hey, do you guys realize this? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. The media never talk about these so-called scientists never bring this up. How, in X amount of years, we're in a collision course. They never mention, if we're static, if we're moving. They just say, Halley's Comet's going to hit us. This giant asteroid is projected to hit us by the year.
I'm at the point now where I'm at the point now where I'm not interested in engaging with them about their fucking nonsense. I want to encourage people just to bring what they find in the objective world and represent that, and to eradicate the talk of fucking metaphysical bollocks about unattainable, intangible fucking stuffs that's going on. So for me, it's a fucking pointless endeavour. Halley's Comet and all this shit. Let the globe disciples rattle on about fucking Halley's Comets and spinny balls and the vacuum and all that stuff. The real people of the world just need to represent the tangible reality they live in. And that's it. That's what they have access to. That's what they need to represent.
Del, I agree 100%. But just mentioning that kind of stuff makes them realize how ridiculous what we're told, so they can move on to tangible things. That's the point, Del. I hope you get where I'm coming from. It's not to debate that. It's to bring it up and make them realize how ridiculous, the things that they're told. That's the point.
Aye.
So we're on the same page with that. That's good.
Aye. People just need to look at contradictions. So.
Yeah, exactly, Del. And one thing I want to mention to you, Del, to be honest with you, not to create a debate or any controversy, but sometimes you might say, oh, the ice wall, and you kind of ridicule it. To me, I wouldn't ridicule it. I would say it's a theory. And in the natural world, we know that water needs to be contained, like you said many times. But what do we see in this real world, this reality?
RVC, if you'd paid any attention to me at all, you would have heard me saying many, 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 many times, probably every time, look, it's fine if you have a postulation or a preference or an idea of what you think it may be, but to claim that it's objectively true is an absurdity, and that's what I ridicule. So that's not what I've said at all. I have never ridiculed it. I ridicule those that claim it to be objectively true because they don't offer me anything to show me that it's objectively true. So I will ridicule people who keep making these outlandish fucking claims because it's not right.
Yeah, Del. Well, the thing is this. I understand that 100%, Del. I'm with you, and I understand when you say that, but I wouldn't ridicule it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of like poke fun at the idea. I would just say, you know what? It's a possibility, but
I have said that. You're not listening to me.
Well, I never heard you say that. I heard you kind of ridicule it. That's all I'm saying, Del.
I ridicule those. I ridicule those that claim it to be objectively true.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, it's just a little. Listen, Del. A little off's a lot off, and I didn't hear you say that, so I got you. I understand what you're saying. When people claim it as fact, that's where you have the issue, not the idea of it's a possibility. Gotcha. We're on the same page, Del. No worries. Just wanted to clarify that with you.
Cool. So, Ryan, how you doing? Meryl, Lee, and...
Good, Del, mate.
Is that you, Dan? Is that flat?
Yes, mate.
How's it going, buddy?
Sam, good, you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
I'm main tag on the day.
How you are, Ryan? We'll not forget who you are. Is that a Christmas present so you don't forget who you are?
To be fair, I think that's last year's one, mate.
Is it?
Aye. How was it anyway? Was it a good Christmas for your audience?
Aye, calm, quiet, the way it should be.
Aye.
Should be every day, not just this once a year fucking garbage. That's the way life should be.
Comes at the right time. That's us on the bounce now. The sun's coming back.
That's it. That's
longer days.
It's exactly what I say, mate. Can't wait until that day's over because I know spring is on its way.
This is that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And it's not been that cold the last couple of days. It's been not bad at all.
No, it's really mild. It's been mild. It's like fucking 10, 12 degrees or something here now. So.
Aye. No, it's been great. Don't get me wrong. I think we're going to get another cold snap, but I don't think it's going to bring any cuffs to the world.
Yeah.
Might freeze a few lakes.
Yeah. It's kind of disorientating watching you sideways, mate. Are you on the ISS?
I keep spinning it around. Aye, it's like I'm on the ISS. It's just turning into rocket science.
Aye. It's relativity, mate. It's relativity. That's the angle you're actually at to me on the ball.
Bad, eh? I mean, That's all avenues exhausted.
Right.
So, we're just going to have to deal with the. Maybe I'm standing on the equator now. You know what I mean?
Well, you're at a different angle to me anyway because you're what 50 miles away or something. So, what's that?
Aye, about that.
That's a good few hundred feet. That's about 700 feet of curvature, mate. You know you're.
I hope you're not using that 8 inches to the mile squared malarkey, are you?
No, I don't even pay any attention to that shit.
Aye. No, just using their guesstimated values, it's silly anyway. You know, they've not given any proof of how they arrived at these values. So
exactly. Exactly.
Exercise in futility, you know, using made up values.
Yep.
There's the working.
That's it, mate. That's it.
Aye. I noticed vegan warrior. He was putting out a couple of good vids.
Right.
Reckon that?
I've not seen any, mate. To be honest with you.
Do you know think he looks a bit like Neil deGrasse?
The same person. Nah, just joking.
You know, I look like I've been chowing on that Matrix steak.
Do you know what I used to think? Do you remember that? Do you know how I used to think you looked like? I thought maybe at the beginning, I'm like, is that his brother? Do you know the boy Validation Boy?
Validation Boy? No, a fan, no.
He's your fucking ringer, only without hair.
I'll check it out. Check it out. Validation Boy, is he stealing my skin suit, is he?
I think so, man. He's your fucking doppelganger.
I might need to reclaim my property, you know, if he's stealing my skin like that.
Exactly, mate. Yeah, I'm copyrighted.
I don't know if I've got a leg to stand on, to be fair. I think I'm public property.
So what's happening, everybody? Fidumbi. Dan.
Yeah, Dale, like you said in the very beginning, I agree with you.
Russian Vids, I just want to introduce and see if anybody else has got something to say. Sorry, mate.
No, it's okay. I was going to say real quick, though, Dale. The whole point is you want people to come in here and bring something to the table, bring something to the, something to talk about, conjure up thoughts, expand our minds a little bit and not waffle along and, just talk and say a lot and not bring anything to the table. That's all I got to say.
Well, I know I seen that you and Dan had some issues going on, so I'm sure we'll get to that.
I'll clarify that. I'll say that right now, real quick. Bottom line is this: a couple months ago, I was talking to you, and I see him on the side saying things like, "Oh, Russian Vids, he's boring me." Well, then come on, bring something to the table.
Yeah.
What?
Which is, maybe honest, I won't tell us my opinion, am I?
Your opinion? Why don't you come in? If you can do better, then come up and say something.
Why are you still fucking whining and say, why don't you come in when I'm fucking here? You dumb.
Then say something, man. Bring something to the table. What do you got to offer, man?
I'll say something. Let me speak then.
Go ahead.
I'll encourage everyone to go to your YouTube page, your about fucking page, click on your Google Plus link, have a look at the only post on there, and ask you to fucking explain that with your fucking symbolism, fucking breakdown. And then talk to me about credibility. And then you're going to talk to me about credibility. You're going to tell me I'll hide. I don't hide anywhere. I've been to Glasgow to fucking meetups, Bristol, Manchester, Birmingham, my own meetup in my hometown, yeah? I don't fucking hide anywhere. You want to fucking come and see me? Come and see me.
All I got to say is this. You're flapping your gums on the sideline. It's good that you're on, finally. I'm proud of you.
What I should be doing? Who the fuck are you saying, talking about how many fucking subs I've got on my channel? Like, your opinion matters more if you got more subs. Mate, you don't know what you're going on about. Mate.
Listen, man, all you have is freaking music videos that don't say anything. It doesn't represent yourself.
YouTube is not going to fucking change fuck all. Are you dumb?
Exactly.
Reach more people, idiot, than you can in the streets on YouTube.
YouTube videos, are you sick?
You can reach more people online than you can in the streets. Both are good.
What the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't get it.
Yeah. You haven't brought it to the table yet. All you do is call other people.
8 pages of fucking merchandise on your fucking shit page. 8 pages of tat. That's your fucking mentality, mate.
So you came on here to attack me, but bring nothing to the table. This is not productive.
The comments. What you comment? What the fuck?
Anywhere. How about just talk? Articulate your flat earth.
I'm here.
Okay, now articulate your flat earth and what you believe. Or you,
I'm going to mute the two of you right now until we establish what the fuck is going on here, because I'm not going to sit here listening to your rabble. All right. So there's obviously an issue between you two, and it seems to me that it's getting a bit of a personal level. So if we've got an issue with objectivity, i.e., what's being offered by each person, then let's talk about that, right? But people, as Dan rightly says, if Dan's opinionated on the same as people will opinionate on me and my character, which is up to them, because I'm not here to please people at that level. So people can take whatever they fucking like. If I was to get irate at every fucking bit of criticism, I would be a shambling mess, a rambling mess, right? So let's keep it to fucking something that we can actually understand instead of just shouting at the top of each other, because I'm not going to put up with it. That's no discourse. That's no understanding.
You're doing a great job of keeping it together, Del. You're not a rambling mess at all.
You shut up, you faggot arse. What one are you? You Fidumby or something? What one are you?
Yeah, it's him. I think it's kind of subjective what you find to be objective.
You've got nothing to say.
It rhymes. Good on you.
Aye, P Mars has got nothing to offer at all in regards to objectivity. So
listen, Del. You hear me, Del?
I can hear you.
This to come here and yell and scream. My point is this: if you're going to complain on the sidelines, jump in. Add something to it. Don't come here and make this a fight online with Dan or whatever his name is. Come on board and just offer something. That's all I'm asking. I didn't want a fight to have this a back and forth. It doesn't go anywhere. That's what people do in these stupid chats. Bring something to the table. That's all I'm saying.
Can I listen, Dan? Can I just establish where this beef has started? Is it because you opinionated on Russian vids?
I found Russian vids boring lately, and obviously he can't live with that. I don't know.
Well, that's fine. As I say, people are entitled to like what they like.
Got a bit, out of hand, like.
Aye. As I say, it doesn't bother me if people don't like me or think I'm this, that, or the other. It's irrelevant. It's.
Well, can I say one thing as well? He's calling you a cult member, saying, I'm basically you're one of your minions, and then he comes on like he's your best mate, and like.
I did say that. If you let me finish, I'll clarify that. I said if you just repeat what Del says and you don't represent yourself, then Del becomes.
I've repeated what Del says. When have you seen me repeating what Del says? What are you saying that for?
That's all you and Beyond Belief do in the chat.
Oh, Beyond Belief now. Hang on a minute. Now we're dragging other people into it. So let me get this right. If people say if people are saying things that are objectively true, that means that they understand the objective world. That doesn't belong to anybody.
Yes.
I agree.
Right, so saying people are cult members is just way off the mark.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this: if people
like your friends with the cult leader,
Hold on, let me finish my sentence here. If people just come on, Del, to your platform and just repeat what you're saying, that makes them cult members. That's not something you want.
That's not a cult. That's not a cult. RV, you're talking crap. Just because people
represent themselves. That's not represent themselves.
Listen. If people say water's level and water finds its level and water doesn't have the ability to conform to the exterior of shapes, that's not anything that belongs to a cult. That's an objective fact.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying is, for example, certain people, for example, Beyond Belief, he repeats verbatim what you say in a response and copies and pastes exactly.
You can't answer my question, then you got to go on to attack Beyond Belief when he's not here, yeah?
Well, you guys, listen, everything was fine until you guys started yapping it up on the side chat. That's how it all started.
That's what's happening.
That's how it all started. Period.
Right. I'm not.
I called you guys out to join. That's it.
I apologise. I'm going to back out, mate, because I've had a couple of whiskies and I don't want to end up shouting and boring.
You're all right, Dan. Cheers for coming.
Peace out. But Russian Mids is a hypocrite, I'm
a hypocrite for what? For what? Explain why I'm a hypocrite.
Well,
yeah, just take off. Drink more whiskey. Take a hike.
Right, there's no need for that.
Piece of garbage.
Shit, Russian vids, I'm not putting up with that, mate. So I just want to speak to other people now and see what they've got to say.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Del.
That's fine. So I'd appreciate some silence and let other people get involved with our discussion.
No
See
worries,
what
no
they
worries.
offer.
I'll let you guys talk. Go ahead. I'll be hanging in the back.
Ryan, Merrill, Lee, and Ali.
Merrill, what time is it, mate?
It's 6:15 in the AM.
It's better, mate.
Yeah, not a cloud in the sky yesterday and today, so
You've not got the Russian heat or anything like that.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna hit the hay, and I saw you spark up, Del, and I just wanted to say, for me, all this fucking cult stuff, YouTube, whatever, me, just as me, sitting here with you all in my bedroom, coming into Flat Earth, I watched this for nearly a year from the sidelines. I didn't know what to do, who to reach out to, who was who, what was what. Tentatively, I reached out to a couple of people, but little by little, I edged my way into this. And I tell you what, this platform does represent something very dear to me. And
Who's that? Sorry, I can hear somebody's child in the background.
yeah,
I'll be mine.
Oh, is it
Sorry
you, mate?
about that.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate, when you go away.
but all I'm trying to get through here, like, you know, it's my subjective feeling, but when I look around at humans in this world, it's a real big disappointment. It really is.
Can be.
There's been so much expectations, people's dreams. We've all been fucked. All of us. And that's so obvious. And so now there's a time to...
Come on, Merrill, you're a big healthy lassie, you can take it.
But it's a time like where you really got to anchor and get your emotions, get your mind, get everything balanced so you can fucking make some sense and know where to go next. And so just the final thing is to rein it all the way back into substance and practicality and things we can touch and taste and smell. That's where you have to bring it. That's where it is. There is forward, there is a future, but if we can't get there, we're fucked. And that's it.
Certainly, mate.
Has anybody got any thoughts on the Rumble yet? It points down. Anybody?
Because we're moving up.
Well, I think so. Pretty dishonest to say otherwise, eh?
Well, this is that, mate.
I'm probably the only globe believer here. It's only through research that I believe that the Earth is a globe.
So
I understand your water argument.
It's not an argument, it's a fact. It's a fact. It's not an
I know
argument.
it's a fact. I know it's a fact.
Right, so how can you believe it's a globe then? How can you believe it's a globe when you know it's a fact?
Well, what's the
The only
proof?
thing I've got to say to that is that gravity plays an important part.
Oh, come
And if
on,
you
man.
say that-
Listen, I don't want to hear your religious descriptions of your fantasy. If you get a practical demonstration,
I don't think anyone can at this stage demonstrate gravity.
I can demonstrate how water behaves. I can demonstrate how water behaves, and so can you. So you're either stupid or you're dishonest. What is it?
I'm neither.
Well, explain to me your reasoning.
My reasoning is, after watching quite a lot of YouTube videos, understanding the way the universe is supposed to work, or is it?
Hang on, what do you mean the universe? What do you mean the universe?
Universe.
You only live on Earth. The universe.
live on Earth.
Explain.
Mate, you're talking about gravity as well. and it's
Describe,
like a
describe
playful
the universe to me. What's your definition of the universe?
The universe.
Aye,
What's my definition of the universe?
aye.
One verse.
Everything I can see, and then everything that, when they've taken out telescopes, massive telescopes,
So stuff you can
huge
see.
telescopes that expand
So
the
stuff.
universe from what our knowledge has been to what our knowledge is now.
Oh man.
Whose knowledge is this? Yours or mine or El's or what?
What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to slag anyone off or call anyone stupid or.
Nobody's calling you stupid.
Well, stupid or ignorant or whatever.
Well,
I mean, it comes to the point that I've researched a lot of you guys' stuff because it actually opened my eyes to what I didn't know or didn't even partly comprehend. And I thought it was brilliant that some of you guys had come out with some things that it actually made me think about things.
Well, that's good.
And that's one thing that I can say I would thank you all for, because I've watched quite a lot of your channels and thought, nice, this guy's got a great concept there. This guy's got a great.
Listen, see your language. See your language. See your language. I'm going to cut in when you keep using that deceptive language. I don't have any concept. The only thing I go by is what is objectively, demonstrably true about my objective reality. That comes to practicality. Now, you've just accepted how a liquid behaves and then stated,
I do.
Right? So how can you then still believe that you live on a globe?
Because there's many things that I don't understand, huge amounts.
So if you don't understand it, if it's stuff you don't understand, why are you using things that you don't understand as sway?
I mean, what I get from some of you guys is whatever you can see, feel, and touch is what you believe to be true. And I understand that, completely understand it, and agree objectively at times with it. But none of you can see H2S. None of you can smell H2S.
Can it be tested?
None of you can see it, taste it.
Can it be tested?
But that stuff will kill you.
But can it be tested? Is it a demonstrable fact?
It is, well, you want an H2S pit, yeah, it is a demonstrable fact because you'll
They demonstrate water's behaving in a way that is conducive to the globe. Demonstrate that. Demonstrate to me curvature. Where's your measurable curvature?
Okay, let me just answer that with one little thing, right? One little thing. If you put an electromagnet next to water, what do you do? Water bends, right? You get enough power in an electromagnet and put it next to flowing water, the water will bend.
So are you claiming that the Earth is running out of a tap and that it's got an electromagnetic thing next to it, and that's what you're using?
That's basically just calling me stupid and ignorant again.
No, it's misrepresenting. That's not an example that accurately represents a claim, though, mate.
Doesn't change level.
It's not a claim I'm making, but it's a.
This is, look, mate, I don't mean I've got a short fuse, but I've heard this tripe a million fucking times, mate. You're talking through a hole in your ass, right?
Straight lines.
Oh, shut up then.
Away you go, son, and live in your delusional, dirty world. Batter in.
Goodbye.
I know waters. I know how it behaves in reality, but there's things I don't understand. And I'm going to use the things that I don't understand to somehow try and implement my religious beliefs.
Totally.
All right, Dale, how you doing?
Ollie, how you doing, mate?
Ollie, me.
Aye, not so bad, no, but hi everyone, how you doing? No, I've got a question. I've got a question for Lee.
Go for it.
Actually, if he's
taken off.
If he's still there.
No, I don't take it off. I never take it off.
Aye, no problems, Lee. What you doing?
I'm alright. What I won't do is I won't call anyone stupid or ignorant or anything else.
Yeah, cool. Respect.
Fair enough.
Respect.
I will.
Respect for that. No. Because but anyway, I've got a question for you, Lee. You know about about gravity. Most like you know how you hear there's all different theories and all this kind of thing. What made you choose the sort of mainstream one? What was actually that, after getting all the theories like about quantum density, what was it actually convinced you that it was the explanation you were given?
Like I says, I mean, I'm really new to this. I mean, obviously I was brought up with conventional stuff, but when I was at school, we're talking about, what, 20, 25, 30 years ago, there was very little space knowledge taught, or what this was taught, or that was taught. I mean, we was in the basic classes, to be honest. We left school with how to fit a wiring in a plug sort of thing, and then out you go and either be a joiner, a painter, or whatever. So science wasn't really
your thing when you were at that. I'll just say science and the stars and the moon was my kind of interest when I was younger, so I learned quite a bit about it. So,
Aye. So what kind of got me interested is I was watching a few flat. Well, actually, my mate says you should watch some of these flat earthers, and I started to. And some of the guys were just blowing my mind, saying, "Well, that's quite interesting." And then I think I watched some of the globe proponents and some of their stuff. But what kind of convinced me that it was a curve is.
Well, I mean, the gravity. I was asking about gravity there. But what made you convince yourself it was, instead of it being density and buoyancy, right?
Aye.
Things go up and they're obviously going to fall down because they're heavier than the surrounding. What convinced you it was
That's to be gravity.
Yeah.
Because
hold on.
Basically,
Hold on.
Yeah.
Right. The way in which objects fall has got nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the shape of the Earth or establishing the Earth's dimensions. So please do not continue to waffle about a lot of irrelevant red herring nonsense, please.
All right, well, it's like the gravity thing's to do with it being a ball, though, because if it's,
But no. What do you mean? What do you mean gravity things to do with balls? I mean.
Well, because they say everything falls towards a centre.
That's a mathematical concept, Ali. It's not a demonstrable fact.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is, Dale. I know exactly what it's what their conception is. I was just wondering. Therefore, it would lead that I was just trying to find out what the bit about gravity convinced them.
Well,
we could stop. It's no worries.
No, what I need is definitions and what we're actually talking about here. So, Lee, are you talking about Newtonian type gravity or Einsteinian?
What I've kind of come to.
Can you answer me, Lee?
I was letting him choose, actually.
Lee, can you just answer, Lee? Einsteinian gravity or Newtonian gravity? What are you talking about?
No, well, if you let me just answer the guy's question.
Just tell me what one I need to know what one you're talking about, Lee.
Gravity.
What one?
I don't know there was many gravities.
Right, so you shouldn't be talking about stuff you know nothing about, mate. So what are you talking about things that you don't even understand for?
You've just stole my point.
Sorry, Ali.
You just done it quicker.
Sorry, my man. I'm impatient.
I was using the Socratic method, man. For fuck's sake.
I've got the Socratic method with Red Bull now, Ali.
Now I'm fucked. I'm off. That's my fucking point.
Right, if I can just answer your question, there's two reasons why.
There is no answer.
Lee, listen, Lee, just listen. If you want to learn, Lee, just listen. There's two theories of gravity, Einsteinian and Newtonian. None of them are demonstrable. None of them can be demonstrated in any way, shape, or form.
None of them are provable, testable, or repeatable.
Exactly.
Sorry,
well, the thing about Einsteinian gravity, it demands that the Earth is moving upwards 9.82 seconds. It demands it, but they don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Newton says it falls, but Einstein's equations say that the Earth is like the Flat Earth Society, man. They believe, the scientists actually, but so ball earthers actually believe, if they believe in Einsteinian gravity, they actually believe the Earth is actually moved towards the upwards at 9.8. So it goes upwards instead of downwards.
Ryan, you're muted, mate. I muted you just because there was so much going on in the background, mate. Just so you know.
Is that me back on, mate?
That's you. I could see you talking there. Sorry.
You want me jumping on that one?
You go for it, mate.
Right. I would say, the flat Earth saying that we're accelerating upwards at 9.8 meters per second squared is back to front and inverted. When you throw something up, it slows down at 9.8 meters per second squared. The negative's just to give it a direction. So to say, look at a plumb bob and say that we weren't moving upwards, I think is just, to the monumental denial, really.
That's part of the dupe, mate, is you get caught into pointless arguments that you can never win.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
people can observe what they observe, well. I mean, there's no arguing with that.
Sorry, guys, for butting. Can you hear me, by the way?
Aye.
Yeah.
I have a wee thing every 6 to 8 weeks. Sorry, cut me off, by the way. Where I have a wee sort of whiskey tasting and sort of discuss philosophy and whatever. And I've got a couple of guys there who have been well into physics and know their stuff. And I've been dropping a few things in the last few times, and it was eventually just before Christmas we had this chat, and one of the guys who actually used his own physics against him, basically, I think, which is what you're talking about, guys, eh? And at the end of the night, he was like, "This is ridiculous that we're a spinning ball."
Of course there is.
Yeah, but I'm going to give him kudos. He actually didn't argue the point. He actually had a epiphany, for want of a better phrase, and went, "Holy shit!" You know, I've been sort of laughing the point at you, but not really taking you on. But he kind of worked out his own, which I think is what people have to do. You just have to just work it out on your own.
Because if you convince them, what's to stop them being convinced by somebody else the next again day? You know,
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. And that's always the way. That's always better than a YouTube video, because he'll start arguing the point with his circle of friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Which
You never
now
know.
started, by the way, he's now actually had the chat since then.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's like, but he was totally like, you know, I could see the wide eyes, like, fuck, I'm kind of, basically, I've just argued so far, I've come in a full circle to where it's ludicrous.
It's because they've just taken it. They've just taken it for granted. Sorry, Dale. They've taken it for granted. That's all.
But that's the beauty of, you know, representing it well and understanding the topic of discussion. Because if you know, just as Ali was about to do with Lee, you can lead them to realizations, you know, by laying out the questions in a certain manner. So good on you, man.
Yeah, that was a nice one. It's just more people like that, because they kind of, they're taking a wee bit more credible, I think. Unfortunately, it's all about status, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, people kind of look up to status. And the people that propagate the lie or whatever they do, try to deceive or whatever, they know that. They know that about us and they use it against us. Simple as, and they train us into us as kids. It's just the way it is.
Totally.
Can anybody speak freely about unusual education? Anybody?
Sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I says, can anybody speak freely about unusual education? Anybody?
What do you mean?
I don't know what you mean by that, mate.
Well, if I said to you, 6 + 7 is 12, right?
Okay.
Then you would obviously correct me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's unusual education. It's like you teach somebody up to a point and then you go further than that point, i.e. gravity, and to see if they'll work it out, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the amount of stuff that's taught as fact, which is absolute nonsensical theory, is ludicrous.
Yeah.
I had
Photons,
this chat,
for instance.
well, I had this chat with a couple of guys. One of the guys really struggles at the group that we're in the chat with, but even he was, I'll give you an example. Like Brian Cox basically, he said that it was upside down from Australia, the moon, because it was on the wrong side of the earth. So what I did is I took a letter I got from the bank.
Should be going backwards.
Made him sit at one end of my living room, made my mate, who was now believing, sit at the other side. I held it up at the light flat. My mate could read it. It was upside down to my other mate. I said, so my living room's a sphere. Is that what you're saying? And sometimes it's as easy as that. It's a light bulb goes off and you go, how fucking stupid was I? Which is what happened to me.
Yeah, that takes away that.
For years.
Yeah, that takes away that kind of belief or whatever, or what they've been told as, oh fuck, I never thought of it that way before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they can see it now. Oh, so they've already seen that there's two possibilities already if you point that out to them.
A or B, or the C.
A bunch of wind.
Somebody's making a load of noise here.
I think it's Patrick.
It was Patrick. Patrick,
Well.
I've muted you because there's some amount of noise coming through your mic.
I think it's probably a NASA broadcast or something.
Maybe at the beach.
I got into this. I spoke briefly to Dale and Gav before, and I got into this to prove my cousin wrong about 18 months ago. I decided to take a couple of weeks out and prove she was an absolute numpty, like an arrogant idiot. And there's me 18 months later gone, oh,
That's my pals.
and we were in Malaga recently, like last week, and the tour guide was telling us, oh, from this coast you can see Africa. And I was like, oh, how far is Africa?
John Corner.
Sorry, guys, I can't hear anything. All I hear is a bunch of wind. Patrick.
Patrick, there's something going on with your mic, Patrick. It sounds like there's wind coming through it constantly.
That's better, Dale.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, like, when I was in Malaga, they were showing us the coast of Africa. So I've got the distance from the tour guide, calculated our height, the curvature, and what we were looking at, and it was just a no-brainer. And I just dropped that into the conversation, and the tour guide's eyes kind of widened. Like, well, we shouldn't be able to see that, by the way. You know, it's like, it's do the experiments yourself. You know, it's like you need to. You're responsible for your own intelligence and your own education sometimes. And I think Flat Earth's the epitome of that.
Yeah, I think it's also important to point out, as Ryan was saying, that when we're talking about this 8 inches per mile squared, this is the figures that the globe proponents have offered. Now, you know,
100%, mate.
and to point out to people that that's their assumptions that they've never proven. But you can take what they're telling you, and you know, again, you're only having an observation. It's only some visible thing. It's not a measurable proof. You know.
No, totally, mate. Well, it's sometimes. Well, for me, it's good to use the maths against them.
Patrick, I'm going to keep muting you, mate. There's something going on with your mic. Sorry, guys. Continue what you were saying there.
No, I'm just saying, like, if that's the maths they're bullshitting us with, I like to use it against them from time to time, you know.
Exactly.
But it's stuff that every person can go and do themselves.
Philosophically, though, you know, if they haven't got any proof, why should anybody believe them in the first place? You know, we're into authority games now.
Exactly.
You know,
I come from land beyond the ice wall. I hear it tell you Earth.
Can I put a question to everybody? Just on the group. Like I was, Dale probably, I don't know if you remember Dale, I was on before telling you guys I worked for sort of doing MUFON stuff and investigating UFOs and all the rest of it. Which I had to put on a shelf to do this, yeah? But how long did it take you guys to shelve your belief system? Because it took me like 10 seconds once I actually investigated it. It was almost like how stupid was it?
I just laughed, mate. I got it instant. The first, I can't remember how I found it the first time. It's that long ago, but as soon as I seen it, it was like half of oh man, what have they been up to now?
Come on, boys, listen, there's a denial. Come on.
Yeah, that was funny. I just laughed. I just laughed down
Like you
that.
were dying, Ali. Yeah, you don't feel like you were dying, mate.
No, I loved it. I just laughed, man. I thought the fuckers, because I'd been deep into conspiracy about the controllers and
You
all
don't
that.
get illness for a wee while.
And then
you'll get shortness of breath and all that for a wee while. What?
When that happened,
I heard everybody coughing. And COPD seem to be on the rise in the flat earth community.
They're lying about everything else. All they be telling you about the ball earth. Yeah.
It's just white noise in the background for me.
Yeah, they wouldn't lie about that though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely no good for your biology, flat earth. It's no good for your social circle either.
No, 100%, mate. Well, having said that, as I was saying earlier, like I've actually got the people I have at my sort of whiskey, cigar, philosophy, whatever nights. As much as they're into physics and reality, I know they're kindred spirits. And just by slow feeding them for months, like as I say, the least pertinent guy who's heavily into physics and everything is now a total, like, oh, this guy's onto something, this is, well, I'm not onto anything, you know, I'm just giving them the facts. Or, sorry, the facts, what the objective reality I see is. And he can't argue with that because he sees it as well.
Well, I mean, if you talk to tradespeople, you know, it's always simple maxims, you know, heat rises, heat expands, you know, sediment sinks, you know, I mean, it's all simple statements. It's no, you know, complicated mathematics and differentiations and made up numbers and all this nonsense. You know, it's usually pretty simple statements that are made that work all the time. You know?
Totally. Well, if you've got like the Danyang Bridge in China that's 120 miles long or whatever it is, and they didn't build in the curvature of the Earth, which they've stated, then WTF, man.
Well, bridges are built to be flexible, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, totally,
It's
man.
a lot more than the measurements are trying to detect with curvature. What's it, 40 millimeters or something? And you're going, well, you know that it flexes a lot more than 40 millimeters. Eh?
You get these people saying that the support towers and bridges are leaning away slightly. Well, any moron should know that if you've got a weight in the centre between 2 points, you lean backwards to take the strain. You know,
Exactly.
no because of the fucking curve of the earth or the water underneath it.
Exactly.
It's just so that it can pod the weight.
It's the water. It's the water.
I tell you the best one I've seen, guys, was a bridge somewhere in, it was either the States or Canada, and it said that built the curvature of the Earth into it. And it was a slightly curvature bridge. But
Wasn't in Hawaii, was it?
you could actually see the curvature of the bridge. The comedy gold part was the water below it was flat, so it made it look like a half circle.
Yeah.
So if the water's flat, why build the curve? I thought that was brilliant.
That's so bad. People don't understand it, so ships can go under it, and that it needs to lean so that it can take the fucking support. Yeah.
Exactly.
Tom Corner, sorry mate, I seen you were there. I don't know if you were having issues. Hopefully you can join back in again.
It's just simple physics with tangible things, man. That's it.
Exactly.
That's when mathematics do work. That's when they do work, because you're dealing with real things you can touch and manipulate and play with. You know what I mean? That's when it does. It's when they start going into these imaginations, sitting on a photon, travelling at the fucking speed of light kind of shit.
Well, photons, anybody that's used a pincushion should know that that's bollocks, eh?
Aye.
Unless the photon's getting bigger, kind of as it gets away from the source.
That's like a bollocks, man. And I'm more interested in the science of shit, man. Fed up with the shit. It's all cheap.
Look at the angular size of the sun in the sky, which I know. When you extrapolate that outwards, it's just ludicrous to think that you could see things trillions of miles away or billions of miles away.
Totally.
Patrick, have you sorted your mic out?
No, it's still messing.
Sophie noisy that, Patrick.
Yeah.
The noisy dude.
Patrick, see the YouTube thing. Turn the video volume down. See if that helps. You're not watching it on YouTube. You're in the live thing now, so there's a delay, and we can hear it coming through your mic. No, it just sounds like wind and as if you're underwater as well at some point. So I'm not sure what's going on, mate. Soliders, have you still not sorted that spelling mistake out yet? Soliders. Is that a new Scottish word?
Yeah, I know. Actually,
I think it's a new Scottish word for hard people.
Yeah.
I'm a solider. Ali.
I'm a solider.
Aye, I'm a solider guy. Sorry, soliders.
Hey,
solid guy.
How you doing?
Soliders is a bunch of hard guys.
At least I can bring laughter to the crowd. That's a good sign.
Hey, come on, man.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, good. I'm from Dallas,
Texas.
It's funny. I transposed the letters when I was spelling it, and so an accident. Dallas, yes, sir. It's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, and it's raining.
Soliders,
So,
your robot.
anyhow, just chime in a little bit.
This is
I
descending
wanted
into a
kind of
farce
what.
now. This is descending
Oh,
into a farce. Right,
oh,
get a grip.
I'll make it short. I just
Right.
Break it
you
up,
let
man.
back on again, Dale.
So,
man, pretty
right,
bad. I try
Andrew,
to.
how you doing, Andrew? You here to join the mental house? Are you here?
Mental
I was thinking about it, Del, but it's looking a
Don't
bit
be like
nuts,
that.
actually. Morning, people.
How you doing?
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Joking, soldiers.
It's no soldiers, it's solidars.
Wanted to circle back.
Says it right there.
Solider, solid. I'm solider.
I'm solider than you.
Anyway,
I'm much more solider.
hey, I'm solid with you, man. How about that? That's cool, all
I
right?
don't know if I like that.
Anyway,
I don't want
wanted
solid
to-
men when about me, mate. Yeah. I'm not that way inclined.
No, you're taking it the wrong way, bro. No,
I don't want to take it anyway. Right?
You've taken that too far.
You're on your loser, mate.
I'm a giver.
Oh, that's good stuff.
So where you go then, buddy? Where you go?
Well, what I wanted to circle back to was last week, Dale was talking about, are we being controlled? And it's like, yeah, for sure we are, because, you know, and I've been doing a lot of research for quite some time, and I'm sure if you have a Bill Cooper or Truther, and he got shot in the back by, but he was the one that was talking about, the Scottish Rite and, the Masonic orders and how they go back to all this Luciferian type stuff. And because they're basically in control of all the money, all this other stuff. And, did quite a bit of research on it. But, just
money, friend.
Hey, so
Listen, give me. I would really love if we could have a cohesive discussion here. Like things are said and people are responding with some sort of input because.
Sorry.
No, it's not anything in particular. It's just
I'm
just losing. I don't know what we're talking about. It's like.
I think he was talking.
To the word, so controlled a lot. Let me just finish. So a lot of the way we thought, beliefs, and belief is the construct of
Solidars, you're robot
killing critical.
Solidars. Sorry to interrupt you. I know you were making a concise point, but you're roboting.
I'm just kind of laying the foundation of how a lot of this has been mind control.
The signal.
It's your signal, Solidars. It's no you. I'm not getting at you. It's a technical issue I think you're having. There's something to do with your signgle.
Yeah, and he brings up Solidars.
I'll restart it.
Yeah, you do that, Solidars. I want to mention real quick. Solidars brings up Bill Cooper. I'd be careful with these kind of people. Take the good information to give and leave the rest, because this guy's been on CNN. He's just was the Masonic youth when he was younger. Just like I said, what anybody says, you gotta question and not just swallow up everything. Question everything.
That's it's about the content that people are offering, and people should be discerning what they're hearing and seeing.
Exactly, Don.
The problem is complete ufologist and believe 100% in planets and extraterrestrials and visitations and everything else. So don't take what he says out of context. He believes in the globe Earth anyway.
Yes, Dave. I want to mention real quick, very important. Back in 1984, he claimed to see a UFO over the LA Coliseum. I mean, that's complete disinfo. Pushing UFOs and all this crap. So you could just throw him out with the rest, with Alex Jones.
Bill Cooper worked with. You'll be able to tell me the name of the guy. Oh, the guy that was the disinformation main guy. I'll come back to me.
David.
But yeah, I mean, it's all Bill Cooper is the godfather of disinformation, basically.
Yeah. You know, guys like Jordan Maxwell as well. You know, there's pictures with him with George Lucas and Michael Eisner at Disneyland. They're all, you know, it's just you know, they're all controlled. You know, if they get a spotlight, they're part of this, you know, a disinformation program, you know. So this is they're controlling both sides. They control the mainstream and the so-called conspiracy theorist movement. So that's getting back to what Del always says. We have to have a mind of our own and have good discernment and not just follow anybody. Not me, not Del, nobody. Have your own mind and come to your own conclusions. What could be proven, not what's stated. What could be proven?
Listen, Vid, you just stated exactly what I said. I think you're a cult follower now. You are in my cult.
Wait a minute. Can I say something? Let me say something about that. Can I say something?
Listen, Vid, you just stated exactly what I said. For God's sake, turn the YouTube watch page down for goodness sakes. I'll take a tantrum.
Yeah, but see, when you say that, I mean, you're going in with a presupposition, so you know their tactics. One of their tactics, anyway, psychological tactics, is to confuse us, and I believe that they mix the truth with lies and stuff like that, just to
2000%, mate.
So if you're going to write people off and call them agents and tell people not to keep away from them, some of the information that they have provided have been fact, but there has also been lies. So you have to look at everything with an open mind and don't judge anybody. Don't listen to anybody that says. Listen, no, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Don't listen to anybody that says such and such is an agent or whatever. Some people walk past bums in the street and look down at them and think, they've got fuck all to tell me. But if you take the time to go and speak to these people, you'll find maybe that they've got a little golden nugget of philosophy or whatever to give you. So you shouldn't ever judge anybody because someone says they're an agent or says, oh, keep away from him. You know, we saw him with fucking Billy Rothschild or whatever.
Exactly.
Don't listen to anything like
that. Don't listen to the bitchiness.
But you're confusing. Listen, let me finish. You are confusing the issue. You're saying be open-minded, and then the next breath you're telling people what to listen to.
No, you hear what I said.
No, you're not listening to what you're saying. You're not hearing what you're saying.
Re-listen to what I said when the podcast is over. I said, listen to everybody, but take what can be proven. So don't twist my words. I said, listen to everybody, take what can be proven.
Right, anyway,
don't
never
twist
mind.
my words, pal.
Right, I don't want to get into a wee arguments here, right?
I'm not going there, Del.
Give me.
Rodney Piper anyway.
I'll tell you the name. The name that came to me now, by the way, guys. It was a guy called Richard Doty. And he was a guy associated with Bill Cooper. And I totally agree with you, mate. You need to give everybody merit and listen to everybody. But Bill Cooper, time and time again, perpetrated stuff that was, in my opinion now, I think, and this is just me speculating, right? This is not fact. If I'm wrong, I would hold my hands up in this. The one thing I won't hold my hands up in is that water bends and I can see curvature, because that is provable to me. I can do that myself, right? I will never hold my hands up to that. But what I will hold my hands up to is my speculation, yeah? And speculation, as far as William Cooper goes, and Richard Doty, and all the stuff that went on with these guys, and the whole ufology side of it, personally, my belief system is that all feeds in to the whole charade of being on a planet and extraterrestrials and all the rest of it. Now, It took me years to come to that, because I was a total ufologist, a total NASA fanboy, and total believed in Gordon Cooper and, you know, Edgar Mitchell and all these guys. But my personal opinion now is that was all feeding in, you know, almost controlled opposition, but in a cleverer way to move us into this belief of a globe, which is nonsense. That's my speculation. That's what I won't hold my hands up to, is the fact I can't see curvature in water bends, because it doesn't. That's fact. That's all I wanted to say. So I agree with what you're saying, mate, but it's just about having a wee chat and speculation for that. The facts are the facts, and I'll never argue them.
Hello, right.
Dave's right.
Hello, hold on, guys. Kingsman and Patrick, used two are fingering each other in my hangout. What's going on? Can't hear you. You need to unmute. You need to unmute. Can't hear you. Kingsman and Patrick.
Unmute yourselves.
Did that make sense what I said, by the way?
Dave, 100% spot on, Dave. Good, yeah, good analogy. Good, not analogy, but good statement.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here now, I think.
How you doing, guys? You need to turn the watch page down on YouTube, somebody.
Password.
I clicked your link. I clicked your link. I clicked your link.
Aye, and what does that mean?
I clicked your link.
I can hear you watching it, Patrick. You're watching it on YouTube like an absolute moron. I don't know how many times I need to tell you. Turn the volume down on the YouTube video. YouTube like an absolute moron.
Oh my word, we're in a time loop. I'm losing time now.
I'm losing the fucking world. I wish the reptilian overlords would come and eat me.
Time's an illusion, Ryan. Time's an illusion. It bends as well like that.
But guys, listen. I want to just I want to be clear, so Ali doesn't misinterpret what I said. Listen to everybody.
We get it, Russian vids. We get it. Donnie no getting back, looking to fucking pull straws.
Obviously, he didn't get it, Del. That's why I'm repeating myself.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. I don't care. Move on. Move on.
Yeah, I agree, Del. I'm with you on that, pal. 100%.
The UFO thing. Who's talking about the UFOs?
Right, do you know what? I think I'm going to cut this.
I think he's unstable, Del.
What?
I think he's unstable, Del. I think there's something wrong with him.
Yeah, Patrick's just making faces now. Patrick's just on here to mock.
Patrick, if you get something hang on. Patrick, if you get something to say. Patrick. I'm going to give you...
Meryl muted him, Del. Good move.
Yeah.
They live, Patrick. They live.
Kingsman, are you pals with Patrick?
Yeah. Well, should I go on Google? Should I go on Google?
No, we can hear you.
Should I go on Google?
I can hear you. I can hear
YouTube.
you.
How
He's
should
just
I
playing games, Del. He's just playing games.
link? I clicked your link.
And what do you want? A fucking medal? What do you want?
I'm just trying to listen.
Well, go and listen then and stop interrupting.
I'm not interrupting.
Well, you're making others a noise. If you get something to say.
You got a bunch of jackasses laughing their asses off for no reason.
I didn't go like that, mate.
Listen, hang on. If you get something to say, Patrick, I'm giving you the opportunity. Patrick, you've got the opportunity to speak now, son. If you get something to say.
Del, you're not listening to me. He's just here to goof off and.
I know, Russian vids. Just let me do what I'm doing, right? Patrick,
it's just gonna drag on.
Have you got something to say, Patrick?
Yeah.
What?
You got three people talking at once. I can't hear one person.
Nobody's speaking.
You got 5 people talking. Five people are talking.
Nobody's speaking right now. Have you got something that you came here to speak about?
Yeah, I want to talk about flat Earth.
What flat Earth?
What flat Earth?
Aye.
The one we live in.
Aye, what's that?
Keep going.
I told you this guy's wasting everybody's time here. I told you, Del.
Oh, there's loads of time wasters, Russian vids. There's loads of time wasters.
I agree. Everybody's time. How am I wasting everybody's time?
We're asking
You're not saying anything.
How am I wasting everybody's time?
Just
how am I wasting
Russian vids? Going to be quiet, please.
Okay, Del, you want to let this guy waste time? Go ahead.
Russian vids. It's...
Okay, Del, you want to waste this guy? Time? Go ahead.
Come on, guys, get a fucking grip.
Right.
Come on.
Patrick's a goner. Patrick's a goner. See you later, son. Kingsman, have you got something to say?
No, not really.
What are you here
not
for?
really. I'm trying to listen. I'm not trying to butt in too much. You know what I mean? But I just want to show my face. That was all.
Good on you, mate.
Great. Perfect.
I'd be keen to hear what you're thinking.
It's an open platform for people to come in and offer something in regards to discussion. No, just to come in and smile at the camera and stick your finger up and say, look, I'm on the
No one
telly,
wants to
mum.
see your face, pal. That's what he's saying.
Who muted Dale?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Apologies. I'll fuck off if I'm.
Yeah, please do.
Wow.
Oh, easy now, for fuck's sake.
Russian vids.
All right. No, Dale. No, just respect, mate. That's all. All right. I'll see you later.
Right, Russian vids. I don't appreciate you butting in continually, mate. You've got your own platform. Okay? You're a guest here as well. Oh, I can't wait to get back to the riveting discussion we were having.
Well, I'd like to encourage people to keep talking with their families, keep talking with friends. Don't spend as much time on here. Go out and do observations and just be active, face to face with people. It works.
Exactly, Andrew. Exactly.
How we win friends and influence people.
Kingsman, you know, we're just being witty. But if you've got something, I mean, you know, it's our own platform for discussion and people are coming on just to smile and stick the finger up at their pal. I mean...
I don't know, actually.
What?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, right. I thought you did know.
No, I just saw him sticking his finger up, so I just...
Right.
Me saying hello to him, that I just noticed he was sticking his finger up. That was all.
So who are you then? What's your story?
What? Sorry, say again?
I'm asking who you are and what your story is. I mean...
Story? I haven't got much of a story, man. Just.
Was that Australian accent?
I didn't mean it. What is it you think? What do you think about the discussion that goes on about the Earth being flat and stuff like that, Kingsman?
I've probably made a
What's your
mistake
view on
not preparing a fucking speech before I got on it. I just.
you don't need. It's not about speech. Just freestyle. Just freestyle your thoughts. It was just. Yeah. What do you think about it? In discussion.
Do you think people asking questions about objective reality is just something that's open to just immediate ridicule?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean,
you do.
I just checked out like the Bay about 2 years ago or something. Saw the video, 200 proofs or whatever it was, and just immediately bit. To be honest, immediately bit.
Right.
Rightly or wrong, I suppose.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Where's the rest of the guests? Has somebody been kicking them out? Ryan, try.
Yeah, I think somebody's at it.
Ryan,
Yeah,
can you message in the chat box to let me know if you get kicked out there or not?
I've noticed people dropping out.
Yeah, I'm just waiting now. Ah, well, fuck him.
So anyway,
someone's musing people.
I track Matty get booted, so this hangout one that I've got open, I'm going to shut it down now and open another one up.
Fair enough.
I'll see how it goes. I'll give it 5 minutes. Aye, Gav, I'm going to do that right now, mate. I'm going to open another one up and I'll send it to you right now. Give me 2 seconds. So much stimulation going on. I don't even know if I'll get to sleep tonight. Well, let me just see what happens here. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. What's happening in the chat box here while I'm waiting? Channel Q, what are you rattling on about? Trying to be interesting and as if you're all deep and witty and all that stuff. So you're just fucking empty, same as the rest.
Yeah.
Gaff, how you doing, mate?
Aye, so my man, how's yourself?
Aye, alright. Kinda.
Kinda.
Kinda. I know you can't see me, mate. I can see you now, so I'll send a link out in about 10-15 minutes or something.
And I've actually got a wee something I'd like to present. If you're up to having a wee distraction.
Aye, go for it, mate.
This, I heard you talking at the beginning that you were going to be doing some practical stuff in the new year.
Yeah.
And keep all these folk on their toes, you know?
Yep.
And you can believe me, I'll be doing the same as well.
Good.
Keeping these people on their toes. So.
Good stuff, mate. Good.
Let me just try and share my screen because I wanted to go through something. Everybody. So, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Right, so this is an example of a visible that everybody knows pretty well.
Yep.
And it's called an optotype, right? It's a letter that is formed in a certain way so that you can measure visual acuity.
Yep.
So everybody probably recognizes this chart, right? Because everybody's had an eye test.
Yep.
Right? And basically what an optotype is it's a certain form of a figure, right? That has certain dimensions. In this case, it's a square, right? And it's divided up into, if you like, 5 similar parts, right? So you can see the stroke of the E at the top, and then you've got 3 gaps in the middle, all of the same size, and then you've got the stroke at the bottom. And you can also see the gaps here, or, you know, if you went down this row, this column, you'd see black, white, black, white, black, right?
Yep.
So this E is split up into 5 similar parts, if you like, yeah? And the idea is that you stand 20 feet away, right? And if you stand 20 feet away and you can actually discern these letters here, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, the 6 lines, kind of normal vision, right? That's when you say people have 20/20 vision. If they can only see stuff, if they can only discern, right? The gaps and the intervals in these characters from a lot nearer, then they've got bad eyesight, right? And if you can discern something, you know, from 20 feet that's very, very small, and you can discern those gaps and intervals, then you've got very good eyesight, right?
Yep.
So this is the eye chart called the Snellen chart that they basically use to measure visual acuity. And at 20 feet, basically this optotype, which is the name of this character, this geometric figure, basically subtends an arc of 5 arc minutes on your retina. So that if you can see the gaps in here, then each one of these gaps is 1 arc minute, right?
Okay.
At 20 feet. And 1 arc minute is about the absolute limit of human vision. Some people obviously can see better, and a lot of us see a lot worse, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically because at 20 feet, this white gap here where my mouse is basically 1 arc minute, right?
Right.
And if you can't see that, if the black runs into the other black, then you no longer see this as an E, right? You can't discern the figure, right? And that's basically where objects get all hazy and blurry and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I found was this paper from the US Department talking about the size of letters required for visibility as a function of viewing distance and observer visual acuity, right? And it's to do with safety here, obviously, because if people can't see very well, then they have difficulty crossing the roads and driving cars and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it has real practicality, if you know what I mean, in real life, right?
Yeah.
And it seems to function, right? So anyway, Mr. Howard here goes on to discuss basically the whole theory of how these letters are built, right? So I'm kind of summarizing this paper for everybody briefly here, right?
Cool.
But these references are available, you know, to have a look at it and study it yourself, right? But I'm just going to flick to a page that is interesting. I don't know, it's taking a bit of time here to show up in the screen there, but I don't know why. Bear with me.
That's all right, mate. I don't know, Gav, if you would this maybe be better just presented on its own? No. Make the point.
Right.
Make the point.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need to do it right now.
No, go for it. Just in case I didn't think it was going to come up there.
Hold on. That paper seems to be taking a long time, but I just wanted to go down to one specific formula in here, a mathematical formula that is used in a lot of places, right?
Cool.
And it's this one here, the visual angle.
Right.
Is 3438 times the size of the object and the viewing distance, right?
Okay.
And this visual angle is measured in arc minutes. And this is the second thing I want to highlight, that any circle, right? If you've got a circle that has 360 degrees, and you divide each degree up into 60 minutes, right? The same way you would divide an hour into minutes and seconds, you can also divide angles into minutes and seconds, right? Everybody's probably wondered that at some point, why did they use the same names and the same words, right? So you've got minutes and seconds and degrees when you're talking, for example, about the latitude on a ball, right? Where your position is.
Yeah.
We also talk about minutes and seconds in an hour, right? And you know, you also talk about minutes when you're measuring visual acuity, because as we know, you know, we do have balls in our eyes, right? In our eye sockets, right? And this number, this division of 360 into 60 minutes divided by 2 pi gives this number 3438, right? Which is basically the number of divisions in 1 radian, yeah?
Yeah.
And this mathematical formula, 1 radian, is used in a lot of things, right? So let me just give you a couple of examples of that.
I think I know where you're going.
You can, 1 radian is 343775 minutes of arc, which is this 3438, right? But it's also the number of nautical miles. If I look at 3438 as nautical miles, then it is 637 kilometers, which is exactly more or less the radius of the Earth, right?
Yep.
So what I'm trying to say is that these mathematical, you know, definitions, right, of, for example, how a circle is split into different markings, if you like, you know, like on a protractor or on a sextant or any of those things, is just a mathematical construct. So, for example, a nautical mile is also defined as the number of minutes in a radian is equal to the number of nautical miles in the radius of the Earth, right? This is from a geometry book, because the definition of a nautical mile is to look at the arc of a circle and a sphere as if you were at the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
So if your eye was at the center of the Earth, right, then you would measure, if you like, that's how to do the measure of a nautical mile, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a fairly big coincidence, right? Mathematically, that, you know, not only does navigation of the sphere and the hours and minutes of the apparent motion of the sun, or your visual perception, or the definition of a nautical mile, all hangs together with that definition of a radian in a degree, and then dividing it by 60, right?
Yeah.
I just thought that might be interesting for a few people, and I'm pretty sure it'll get a lot of people talking about it.
Excellent.
And I'm going to do a couple of more presentations in that in the next couple of weeks, my man.
Good stuff, mate.
I'm going to go into that in a wee bit more detail, showing how at the end of the day, and I'm just going to finish on this slide, that you use basically mathematical instruments, right, employed in surveying, level, and astronomy, and you can see that it's basically mathematical models with specific geometries that are the driving factor behind which instruments you then make to measure things, right? So whatever your assumptions and definitions of geometries are mathematically, that's what drives the instrument making, what to make to measure stuff, whether it's in surveying, leveling, and astronomy.
Yeah. So they basically just extrapolated from the arc of the eye and placed you physically on that curve of the eye, on the outside edge.
Yeah, that the trick of, let's say, dividing something using the sexagesimal system. So it's basically base 60, right? What the Babylonians used, right? So 360 degrees is 6 times 60, right? You then split the 1 degree into 60 minutes. And a minute just means it's the first division. Seconds means the second division of 60. You could also say thirds would then mean the next division of 60. So, you know, if I take a minute and I split it into 60 seconds, I could take a second and split it into 60 thirds, right? That's all that means, first, seconds, and thirds. First, minutes and seconds, right? So basically in the Babylonian system, they counted to 60. Basically, apparently you use the digits in your fingers. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? With one hand. And then you've got 5 times 12 makes 60. So that was the way they counted, right?
Right.
So the whole idea of just dividing a circle then into, 60 or into 360 and then dividing into 60 is basically this ratio that's, being used in navigation, in spherical geometry, in visual perception, and even in sun clocks and sundials, because that's nothing other than a circular plate with the sun's ray and turning around in an angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to point out to the people where the mathematics is being used to tell different narratives in different situations, right? But all of it is modeled on basic circular geometry or geometry of spheres. And the eye is one of those stories that they don't tell, right? They don't tell how it all hangs together. So But I'm going to be, diving in a wee bit more deeper and explaining that.
Excellent.
The physiology of how we, our senses. So, I mean, we know visibles are partial perceptions. I'll say it again and again. It doesn't trump common sensibles. But, we need to understand how all these things work, because it's definitely one of the most powerful senses that we have, and the one that's most abused and misused, right?
Aye, and the one that's least understood. Again, I mean, you get people rattling on about observations continually, but we don't have any fundamental understanding, as you've just pointed out, the eye and what's actually going on with the geometries that are being used. So, what is your observations? What do they count for without that?
Yeah,
so,
and I mean, I hope I can contribute, and I hope I have, even tonight, to make people see these connections, right? So, the visual acuity. This whole thing about, what can you see when it goes into the distance, when it hits the horizon, then they can tell us it curves if they want, right? But if people need to understand, and especially academics, so, I'm trying to appeal also to people who, you can go to the university armed with this stuff and ask them to explain it, Why is that number the same everywhere, right? So what's your assumption of the radius of the Earth? Is it just because that geometrical sexagesimal system was useful, right? So they're making stuff up, right? And I just want people to be empowered with some of this knowledge, you know, and I hope it's not too difficult to comprehend.
No, so say, mate, it'd be really good if we can, we'll have a few discussions and then do a dedicated hangout to just this and maybe join some dots.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe tonight's just an overview then. So
aye, a wee pre.
Forward to that.
Aye, a wee what's the word? Precursor. No, that's not a wee preview.
No, we want to. Well, I want to try and make sense of mathematics, if you know what I mean. Maybe as a kind of heading, right? So show how mathematics doesn't need to be treated as some monster, right? That we can't touch, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's actually practical, demonstrable, engineerable, and tied also to our physiology, then it's fine, right?
Yeah.
It's when they separate it into metaphysics that, you know, I don't agree with, and I don't want people preaching it as objective fact, right?
Exactly,
So,
mate. Exactly. Oh, good on you, mate. Spot on. Good. I look forward to digging into that.
Aye, me too, right?
Excellent. He's saved me from the rabble as well, you know. As I say, from now on with these live hangouts, it's going to be limited to a couple of people at a time, and people need to start making sense, or I'm just going to keep ejecting people. I can't be fucking bothered with it.
Aye, I can understand, my man.
It's just to give people the opportunity
not
to speak.
necessarily to me either. So
No.
yeah.
Well, you're hoping to give people the opportunity to speak, and they're going to come in with some clarity and, you know, have something concise and something solider to say, you know. But it's just not happening. You know, people are acting like fucking children. They don't know how to speak. So again, I'm not saying that about everybody, but people know what's going on, you know. So aye. So
Listen, I'll jump out and you can let other folk in, huh?
no, I'm just gonna wrap it up anyway, mate. I've had enough tonight. So I appreciate you jumping in. Appreciate everybody. Aye, mate. I'll catch up with you, mate.
Right. See you soon. See you, everybody. Thanks.
Cheers, bud.
Bye,
Aye, know that I don't appreciate everybody else, you know, but I just can't be arsed with that fucking nonsense going on. But I'll try the open platform again on Saturday, see how it goes. Oops, I didn't mean to start that there. What have I done? Hopefully that's not running. I think it might have been running. Anyway, cheers, people. We'll be back on Saturday. Maybe before that, see what happens with what Gav's just presented there. Maybe even kick Saturday off with that if that's the way it happens. But again, cheers everybody for coming on. Everybody in the chat, mods, always much appreciated. See you very soon.